Hello, friends. As a mentor and a guide and a coach for UPSC Essay preparations, it is my job and it is my task to seek patterns, to discover patterns in UPSC Essay paper and help you create content which is highly relevant and which you can develop in least amount of time. So let me demonstrate to you an example of a pattern that I have noticed over the past few years. See, when you prepare for UPSC exam, you don't have to read all the philosophies in details. You have to be very selective and pick up certain philosophical ideas, read them over and over again, internalize them, absorb them, assimilate them in you, rehearse that those ideas several times, practice them, apply them in a wide range of situations, and that would help you write good content when you're writing essays. That would help you never fall short of content, never fall short of good content when you're writing essays. So let's just go through one such example. uh, Please have a look at these topics that are there in front of you. In 2024, UPSC asked this as a topic: there is no path to happiness, happiness is the path. In 24, the same year, they asked social media is triggering fear of missing out. In 2022, they asked inspiration for creativity springs from the magical in the mundane. And 2022, they asked just because you have a choice doesn't mean any of them is free. And likewise, in 21, they asked about process of self-discovery, technologically outsourced. 21, they asked about materialism as a chimera. 2020, they asked simplicity is ultimate sophistication. And 2020, they asked you about mindful manifesto as a tool for tranquil self. So what do you notice in these essay topics? And some more essay topics that I could have added. There were many more essay topics also which I could have added. What do you notice here? One thing that I notice here is that one philosophical idea that you can apply to almost all of these essay topics is the critique of commodification. Commodification and its sibling consumerism and materialism. These three things I have been teaching in my essay classes for past several years. The first and the second class, I deal with these three things in detail. And see, critique or criticism of these three things: commodification, consumerism, and materialism. This is something that you can apply to almost all of these essay topics, even many other essay topics that I have not mentioned over here. Okay, so just let me demonstrate that. How can you do that? What is commodification? First of all, if I ask you what is commodification, commodification is when you assign a price tag, to something which was supposed to be free, something which was earlier free, it was private, it was never supposed to be sold in market, sold or purchased in market. Those kind of things, when you start assigning price tag to them, when you start selling them or purchasing them in market, then this is called commodification, because these goods were not supposed to be commodity, but now you have made them a commodity. This is called commodification. Where do we see it? We will come to it in a while. What is consumerism? Consumerism is this idea where you promote this commodification, where you say that you make or you make a person buy maximum goods. You make him believe that his success or his worth in life or his life goals, his meaning, his existence depends upon how much goods he has collected and how good quality goods they are and how costly they are. So if you think that the worth of a person depends upon how good goods or commodities he is in possession of, then this is called consumerism. And this process where you are turning free goods, free things into commodities, it is just called commodification. And what is commodity? It is something which is being sold or purchased in market and which has a price tag attached to it. So now let's come to these as a topics and see how we can apply them. Now, commodification, in a while, let's also discuss some example of commodification. Very quickly, I will give you example of commodification. Commodification, where do you see? Now we see commodification everywhere. Something which, in education, we see commodification, coaching industries mushrooming and so on, private schools mushrooming, In even in relationships today, we are seeing commodification, where in marriage we see commodification, where boys and girls, they are being sold and purchased. Marriage alliances take place on the basis of how much wealth the spouses can generate. Even romance, dating, the rise of dating apps depends upon how much wealth people have. And when we talk about girls being sold in market in this fashion, we are saying that how those girls get prominence who conform to certain beauty standards. So even beauty has been commodified. Girls need to conform to certain beauty standards. They need to have white skin. They need to have a certain kind of frame and certain kind of nose structure and eye structure, and because of which they are going for surgeries. So cosmetic implants they're going for. They're going for skin whitening treatment. This is skin whitening treatment, which is not only costly but also painful. So we see commodification everywhere. In tourism, we see. In religious places, we see. In hospitals, in healthcare, everywhere we see consumerism and everywhere we see commodification. Now, once you have practiced this or when you have collected these examples of commodification, then you can apply these examples whenever these essay topics come in front of you. And for example, this essay topic, it was asked, there is no path to happiness, happiness is the path. What does this essay topic wants? This essay topic wants us to say, it wants us to challenge this consumerist idea that happiness is the product of the goods or the commodities that you have purchased. So for happiness, you don't have to follow on a path. You don't have to chase a path. You don't have to engage into a rat race of collecting maximum wealth and maximum goods. That is one of the interpretation of this. That could be one of the interpretation of this essay topic. Social media triggering FOMO. So we could be talking about attention economy here. We could be talking about how everyone is screaming for attention. Likes and dislikes are being sold. And on social media, we see how people they are screaming for attention, and they are spending too much wealth to get that attention. So those kind of things we could argue over here. Lifestyle branding, and even things which are completely private are now being broadcasted on social media. So whether people are proposing to each other, or whether people are loving each other, or whether people are even going for divorce and breakup, or even they are going for pregnancy. And sometimes we have even seen personal moments like these tweeting and these kind of things. They are being broadcasted on social media just to grab likes, so that they in turn can help them become a better influencers and better increase their fundings. Similarly, other topics, inspiration for creativity springs from magical and mundane. Again, we could be talking about how creativity has been commodified today, unfortunately. Now, to be creative, you don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money. You can seek that creativity in simple things also, without having, uh, without being in possession of those commodities. Likewise, in 2022, they asked this topic, just because you have a choice doesn't mean any of them is free. This again tells us that how we can talk about this thing, that about this illusion of choices which occurs in front of consumer today. So we think that we have these infinite range of mobile phones from which we can pick up, infinite range of car models which we can select up. We have choices, but we are forced to buy one of those choices. So we think we are free, but just because those choices exist in front of us doesn't necessarily mean that we are free or any of them is indeed good. So likewise, process of self-discovery technologically outsourced. We could be talking about this commodification of religion and meditation and self-help uh, coach, and all those people who are running after brands, and who have established a brand for themselves, and with the help of those brands they are trying to teach you about your own self discoveries. So that sort of commodification we could be talking about. Next essay topic, 2021, wantlessness is utopian, materialism is a chimera. This is straightforward application. and it seeks to create a tension between wantlessness on one side, materialism on the other side. The discussion of materialism commodification would be extremely relevant to this topic. Again, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. We could be discussing how we are being told that to be beautiful or to be or to feel good about ourselves, how we are being made to chase those complicated things which can be bought with the help of money only. And to be happy, to be a great person, we don't necessarily have to spend money on those for example, those cosmetic implants or those jewelry and so on. Likewise, mindful manifesto and tranquil self. How our tranquil self gets disturbed because we are our mind is being colonized by this market and so on. So market has colonized our mind, has all 24 hours we are being fed up. We are being fed with these advertisements and with these thoughts that we must be in possession of these commodities. So all these things are disturbing our mind. So friends, what I want to tell you here is that if you have practiced this one philosophy, which is a criticism of commodification, consumerism, materialism, if you have created a list of these ideas, then you can quickly apply them in your essays. I'm not saying that all these essays are directly related to the theme of consumerism and commodification, but what I'm saying is that these commodification, consumerism, etc., they can supply you certain material, they can enrich your content. So at least 1 page or 2 page content can be created by these topics. I have mentioned here several topics. There are topics that I have not mentioned and which you may think are not related to commodification, but even they would be. So like this 2023, in 2023, they asked you this essay topic about girls are weighed down by restrictions and boys are boys with demands. So this was a topic. You might be thinking this talking topic is about patriarchy and gender divisions and gender issues and so on, which is true, but this topic we can also apply the discussions related to commodification over here. For example, boys are expected to bring maximum commodities. The market is forcing boys to bring maximum commodities. So in case if a boy want to prove that he loves his woman forever, then he must buy her a gift which exists for forever. So if you love your wife forever, you must buy her a diamond which is forever. Unless you gift her those precious jewelry, you don't love her. This is the idea that the market is implanting us. Similarly, girls restrictions have been imposed on them, and even girls are expected to conform to certain beauty standards. As I said, they are supposed to have fair skin. They're supposed to have some good uh, texture, their texture, their skin, their even their teeth, alignment of their teeth, eyebrows, everything is supposed to fall and everything is supposed to conform to these beauty standards for which they go and surrender themselves to costly and painful cosmetic procedures. So what I have shown you here is that this idea of commodification, consumerism, materialism, if you have practiced it, if you have internalized it, which is not a very difficult process, and just a half hour or 1 hour discussion is sufficient for it, one class is sufficient for it. If you have internalized it, then you can use it in a wide range of essay topics. Even last year they asked this topic about future of empire will be the empires of the future will be the empires of the mind. Even then, when you're talking about mind, you could be talking about how commodification is corrupting our mind and is trying to control our mind. So any topic you bring up, you can always apply in that topic some ideas related to this philosophy of critique or criticism of commodification, consumerism, and materialism. So I hope this brief discussion of these three things was beneficial to you. Had you been in class, I would have digged in further. I would have given you more interesting examples of commodification, like surrogacy, like mercenaries who are being hired to kill, and so on. And what I want to demonstrate here again, I'm bringing in the same point that to prepare for UPSC essays, especially when you are a student, it is advisable that you pick up certain philosophies certain thought processes and rehearse them, internalize them. And these processes need not be very complicated. They need not be full up of complicated jargons. But once you have selected those philosophical ideas, and once you have practiced them sufficiently, then you can be definitely in a spot where you can write good answers. And I, as I started with, as a coach, as a mentor, and as a guide for UPSC, would be helping you out in this process and help you get a better score for yourself in UPSC. So, in case if you want to take benefit of the entire course, which I just started for UPSC 2025, you can join it at the earliest. With this, I would end this discussion here. I hope this was beneficial. Thank you all.